Can you imagine somebody watching our stuff right now is going to be inspired to do something like that, and they can take it to a whole nother level?
I hope so.
I think the best way to describe it now is like almost like being a recruiter, recruiting talent.
My objective walking out of that interview was to ensure that I asked the questions that I know the community wants to hear asked, right?
Wow, that's not the answer I was expecting. You actually got me genuinely laughing right now. Is $1,000 in one card worth more than $1,000 in 20 cards?
Man, that's tough. It depends on what's your play.
What's up, everybody? How you doing this Saturday? And today we have an impromptu live. I think it's going to be a great conversation. I'm excited about talking to the guests. I have AIH Sports here. Let me bring them in.
Hey, man. How's it going?
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, man?
What's going on?
Good. I'm doing well.
All right. I can tell you I'm excited about this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's start. Let's just dive right in.
Yeah.
Tell me about your background. If you've collected other things before, and how did you get into sports cards?
So when I was a kid, after the junk wax era, my cousin, he gave all these baseball cards to his mom, and then my aunt gave me all these cards. So I had a fondness of all these sports cards. I thought I cracked the Mark McGwire rookie, when he was hitting all those bombs in 1998, but it wasn't his rookie and it wasn't in good shape. But so I didn't collect that much, but I still had that in my collection, and I found it really nice. And going back about 3.5 years, we went to an antique shop, my wife and I, and then we just saw all of these cards over there, and that's what reignited me to get back in the hobby. I found a Tom Glavine rookie, and then I'm like, okay, it just set the bell, and I decided, okay, I need to get back into this.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do you primarily collect now?
I collect. I usually invest, but from a collecting perspective, I'll show you right here.
Okay.
I'm a huge Cubs fan, as you could probably see. But this is an Anthony Rizzo auto, the lights reflecting. But anything with the Chicago-based, I have a Ditka auto that I got a few months ago. I have a Dennis Rodman auto. Like anything that reminds me of my childhood. Also, I have a few Bulls cards from back then in my collection. Rodman, Luke Longley. List goes on. So from a collecting perspective, it has a Chicago theme.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you grow up in Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago and the suburbs. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
Like we talked a little bit before we got on. I'm from the Chicago South Side.
Right.
Very, very cool. Let's get some comments in here. This is a great shift from the typical hobby positivity. Everything is a quick flip, like it's 2020. Guess looking forward to the honest dialogue. Then we got OG Car Scammer, yo. Rookie Car Finder saying, evening, gentlemen. Evening, Rookie Car Finder. Richard saying, whoa. And Ryan, we're rolling with FD. Thank you for being here, Ryan. So earlier we talked, I said the word collector, and then you said I typically invest.
Yeah.
Let's go through some of these terms. What do you invest in?
So back couple of years ago when the market wasn't crazy, I was looking at mainly Hall of Fame guys, and I was looking at, okay, these individuals are probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. So I was looking at baseball. Justin Verlander, before he won the Cy Young in 2019. I don't know how much baseball you watch, but
a lot.
Yeah, you watch a lot of baseball. Okay, so in 2019, I believe Verlander won the Cy Young, and I was just buying all these Verlander cards before all that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also buying Max Scherzer cards because I saw, hey, look, this dude has 3 Cy Youngs, and that's a guaranteed lock in my opinion.
Yep.
And I was buying later that year, I was buying Tom Brady rookie cards. And because I saw, hey, look, in 2018, 2019, I was looking at Derek Jeter cards, and I'm like, this dude's going to be in the Hall of Fame in 2020.
Yep.
And his cards were just going up like crazy in 2019. I don't know if you're looking at the Jeter market at that point, but yeah. And then I said, okay, if Derek Jeter cards are going to go up, then what else is going to go up? In my opinion, it's going to be Peyton Manning because he was in the Hall of Fame, last year?
Yes.
If I'm correct. Yeah. So, and all of these cards I happened to buy at the right times before the crowd got in, and the pandemic also definitely helped prices. So, yeah, that's what I was doing pre-pandemic. I was just looking at all these individuals that were going to be in the Hall of Fame just based on what I saw in the price action of Derek Jeter, and yeah, now all these cards have gone crazy, and I've gotten rid of most of them.
So do you actively sell? And when you do sell, what do you sell at?
I mean, my intention when I got in, I wanted to hold for a long period of time because that's what collectibles are all about from, a speculative perspective. You should be holding for 5 to 10 years. But then I saw some of these cards, they just went up, what, 5x, 6x. And then when I was speculating in Mahomes cards, I was like, okay, I'll throw $147 on an optic hollow PSA 10, one of his rookie cards. And it was what, $140. And then it went all the way up to $7,700 before the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now that card has gone down, but still. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm just trying to look where people aren't looking at, and then selling when people start to hype it up. Everyone gets excited. When everyone gets excited, I get nervous and I want to just take the gains.
Okay. So now you had a background. You started out in gold and silver, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how I got into, alternative assets. And I got involved with it over a decade ago. And I learned lessons from that time frame. I'm like, okay, I was buying into the hype. Now, some of the Eagles that I bought, they've maintained their value because the demand for silver Eagles have gone up. But after I saw what happened then, I learned, hey, look, I need to buy when people aren't buying, and I need to sell when people get a little, not hyper, but when there's a lot of enthusiasm. When there's a lot of enthusiasm, I've been trained to just sell the hype, buy the fear, sell the hype. And it doesn't necessarily mean same thing for collectibles or sports cards or gold and silver. I can look at the stock market as well and other stocks in general.
So with cards, where are you selling at? Are you selling on eBay? Are you selling at
Yeah,
shelf?
I haven't sold that many, but yeah, I usually use eBay. I mean, yeah, I've ripped on eBay, but they're still the only game in town. You're the only game in town. It's like going to Walmart, right? If you're in a small town, that's the only place to go. Whenever I visit a small town, I mean,
I got you. I understand.
Yeah.
Mervin says, "What's good, people? What's good, Mervin? One card at a time. Good evening." And one card said, "I'm looking like Obi-Wan with the green glow." Yeah, I don't know what this green glow is all about. I do not know. No, nothing here is different than normal. But today we have the Obi-Wan glow, so we're gonna roll with that. Mervin said, "Attending any card shows? Do you usually go to card shows?"
I usually don't go to card shows. I did go to one in Chicago about a few weeks ago. It was like the Chicago Spectacular. Like some of the big flippers were out there, I believe, in the YouTube hobby. But yeah, that's where I actually got that Rizzo auto. So yeah, I do go. I'm probably going to go to those shows, every few months just to see, what's out there. I'm not taking that much money because if I take a lot of money, I'm going to just spend way too much.
Okay. But when you do go, you look for cards sometimes?
Cards, autos. I mean, I bought a Shohei Ohtani ticket, one of his rookie tickets when he was with the Angels. So I just buy whatever that's coming to my liking. It could be a card too, but a lot of sports cards right now are still expensive for my taste.
Okay. All right. So let's jump into some cards. So
yeah,
like share some of your thoughts on the card market. When you go out, are you looking for modern? You looking for vintage? And kind of like what sports are you looking for?
So what I'm looking just for my own collection, I don't want to buy right now, but just future purchases, anything with the Chicago Bulls from the 90s, I want to definitely add to my collection. Anything with Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Longley, Harper, all those guys, Tony Kukoc. For my own personal collection, that's what I'm going to do. Now, in terms of the sports card market, I am not too bullish on most of the cards right now. So my take from a speculative slash investing point of view, I want to look at cards that no one really is looking at, and I'm willing to hold for 5 to 10 years because I expect we're going to go through some sort of nasty recession probably in the next few years. So what I'm looking at right now is anything Jordan or Gretzky or some of these goats and that are under $40 graded and that could get shipped to my house. And that's what I'm doing. I talked about some of them the other day. I think I have one Gretzky right now. I showed in my video, but it's a 81. The lighting is
See
bad.
it?
Yeah, 81 Opeachy PSA 7. So
Okay.
I think I bought it for about 42 bucks shipped. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, okay, if the whole economy were to come tumbling down like I expect in the next few years, people still will be going to the quality names, right? Like Jordan, Gretzky, and then you could come up with other vintage players as well, in my opinion.
So you say recession in
Yeah,
reference to the car market. What do
yeah.
you think? What do you foresee happening?
What I foresee happening is, first of all, right now we have inflation. That inflation will go bye-bye and it'll turn to deflation. And sports cars, they usually do well in an inflationary environment. And we've seen inflation the last few years. So still, even though I'm bearish, some of the high-end cards are doing well. And during a recession, sports cards come tumbling down. During that time frame, I want to be very aggressive, just like you saw people very aggressive about a year ago
Mhm.
in February, March. That's how aggressive I want to be. At that time in February and March of last year, I don't know if you've seen my videos, but I was very cautious at that time. I was still buying, but I just wanted to still look at cards that no one else was looking at. And sure, I was still adding to my own personal collection for autographs as well.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you go when you are at a show or you're on eBay,
Yeah.
how do you go about negotiating car prices? Are you like what's your process?
Well, in terms of what I do, like I told you, I'm not looking at high-end sports cards right now.
Mhm.
So I just look for all these auctions that have not that many bids, and I just start bidding some of these cards. For example, the Gretzky, the Jordan cards. Now, in terms of negotiating, I think it's much tougher negotiating today than it was a couple of years ago. But if I were to negotiate, what I used to do is if I saw all these cards that I wanted to sell, for instance, through my wife's company, what I would do is I'd be like, hey, if I buy a bunch of these, could you give me a discount? And usually they would try to work with you pre-pandemic because it's all about cash flow. And if you give them money up front, they'll more than likely help you in terms of a discount. And I do believe what some of these good flippers do is they go to these card shows, and if they want to buy a collection, they use negotiating tactics. Hey, I'm going to give you all this cash. Give me like 20, 30% discount. And then over time, they're able to make money flipping those cards. So I think those strategies could still work today, but that's not what I'm doing right now because I do believe there will be some fantastic opportunities in the coming years. That's my opinion. I'm not telling what
No, I
people should
understand.
do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, in this entire episode, we're just sharing ideas.
Yeah, just
We're not telling
before,
anybody what to
someone says,
buy.
"Oh, you're giving investment advice." I'm not.
None of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Brendan said just like what you were just talking about, buying whole collections in the wild can yield unexpected gems, although rare these days. The stuff is out there. So let me just ask this question because
Yeah,
sometimes I think about this. When you're at a show or you're in front of someone, what are you seeing at the show compared to what you're seeing on MySlabs, eBay, other websites? Do you see different cars in different places?
yeah. I've seen. I see these not weird cards, but cards that I've never come across. I don't know. Did you ever see this 1985 Interlake Jordan card before? Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, you've never seen that. So
Now,
that's
I've seen like the '86 Intimans card of Jordan and some of
okay.
the Panini stuff from overseas, but not that card.
Yeah, I think it's called the Interlake card. But yeah, it's on eBay, but I've never heard about that. And I've watched many YouTube videos and I've been following sports cards intensely for the past few years, but no one's talked about it. And it apparently is a rare card. And now that caught my attention. So you
Mhm.
get to see things that normally you wouldn't search for on eBay or it wouldn't come through the algorithm on eBay.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit of going to a show. And I'm going to go to more of them. I'm not more of a show guy, but I was like, okay, there's a show coming up in Rosemont. I better head out. I didn't get to make it to the National last year, just had other obligations at that point. So I was, okay, let me go check it out. And you're going to see some weird things too. For instance, I was talking about Shohei Ohtani rookie tickets, and I'm interested in buying some tickets. I know it's not a good thing for other people, but I just like looking at those things. And sure, it's on eBay, but it doesn't come up the first thing that you want. It's just based on what you've searched on eBay. So it's all about the algorithm, what you search for. So yeah, I do recommend people going to shows because you get to see all these other things that other people, may not talk about. Do you feel the same way too, or what?
I love going to shows. I mean, I love the interaction of people, and I
Yeah.
love negotiating prices of cars.
Okay.
I just love it. So if you and I were together and I was selling something, you were selling something, I would look forward to the negotiation of the card.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's exciting to me.
Yeah. Yep.
And I like to have a situation where we both walk away feeling good about the situation. Like
Right.
I'm not going to drive you to where I'm below your cost on the card.
Right. Right.
Or, and I'm all about the negotiation on the card. There's nothing else that's brought up.
Right.
There's nothing that's talked about that's not in the content.
Right.
What we film is what we actually do. All right, that's how we go. So let me just throw some names out to you or some words, and you tell me what you think. All right?
Yeah.
Zero Cool. What are your thoughts on that?
So my first question is the whole industry is really quiet about this. They're not talking about, in my opinion, how ridiculous this is. Now, some people may spin it like, hey, look, this is a test run by Fanatics, and it went successful. They sold 600 of those cases, 200 are still left out there. Okay, that's fine. And sure, it has Gary Vee's name. So over the long term, those boxes may hold decent value, but it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And you can just see, just on my comment section, a lot of people happen to agree with me. And there are a lot of people in the industry have been quiet about it. And also what really ticked me off is that people in the industry really didn't say anything about in my opinion, the obvious shill bidding that's going on in regarding these cards. And I talked about just last week, there were about, I believe, like 50 review people that were bidding up these cards. And the second highest bid for some of these cards were also 0. So obviously there was a lot of foul activity going on, and no one's talking about it. And, I think that's a huge problem, because if they're not talking about this, then what's going on with other cards? And that's, in my opinion, inflating the comps of other sports cards that we may look at. So people come back and me saying like, hey, why do you care? I'm caring because there's some sports cards that you like and I like, and that we see on the comps, and those comps are not accurate. I don't know what you think about that.
Let me just ask you this question, all right?
Yeah.
When I think of auction, like when I think of eBay, and I know you participate in eBay, when I think of eBay and auctions, there's some shill bidding going on.
Correct.
No matter what card you're talking about.
Right.
Right. I tell the story all the time. I had a person I work with, and they were telling me the story 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably three years or so removed from high school. Their friends will go to discount sporting good places,
Mm-hmm.
and they will buy up ski equipment that's at a reduced cost. They're trying to get rid of. They're trying to close the door of the store, and then they will go and have one person of the group put that ski equipment up for sale, and then the other 2 or 3 will work that price of that item up.
Yeah.
AKA shill bidding.
Correct.
And they did this on a regular basis. No, we're not even talking about cars.
Oh yeah, it's rampant throughout eBay, and
So I
eBay,
almost think whenever I hear of an auction, if I'm bidding on something,
Yeah.
I'm aware that somebody may be working this price up. But to
Yes.
me, that in this system that we have, and with eBay being what it is, or some of these other auctions, that could actually occur.
Correct.
So how do you? I mean, we really can't stop it, right?
We can't stop it, but if you put enough pressure on individuals that are the so-called leaders of the hobby, and you press them on it, they may actually start doing something about it. I mean, just look at, I saw some of the comments. Jeff Wilson just did an April Fool video, and he may have looked at some of these comments. He maybe looked at my videos, and he's well aware of it.
Mhm.
And now, he has a relationship with eBay. Now the question is, can he do something about it based on his close relationship with eBay? And that's the thing. And a lot of people are ticked off about it, and you could just see it in my comment section. And I don't have, a large channel. And if a bunch of people on my channel are echoing my thought process, then if you look at eBay's side, you're going to see less people go to eBay, less revenues for eBay. And then during a recession, all of these shill bids are going to hurt eBay's bottom line. I mean, right now with all these shill bids, you could see, okay, people may be manipulated into paying a higher price, but during a tougher economy, they're not going to be paying these higher prices. So in my opinion, it's in the interest of the leaders and eBay to try to come to some sort of solution for sports cards. I understand it happens for other items, but I'm looking particularly at sports cards because that's one of my hobbies. I invest in it, I collect it, and yeah.
So let me ask you a tough question. So
Yeah.
when you put product on eBay to sell,
Yes.
right, are you thinking of shill bidding?
Hell no, I'm not going to shill bid it at all.
No, are you thinking of your item that you're selling?
Yeah.
Maybe should bid it up.
I believe there was one time someone tried to shill bid it and they didn't pay.
Mhm.
I think if I'm selling an item that people are buying into, I need to change the features and remove all the people with 0 reviews. So I didn't end up selling the card. So I did bring it upon myself. I just didn't have many issues with non-payers for sports cards. Usually the people that have bought sports cards from us, they have paid. So that's why I wasn't worried. It's more of the bigger auction houses. It's like, I'm not going to pick on Probstein, but I'm just seeing a lot of individuals with 0 reviews. They're not paying up. And now we're on that topic, like Patrick Mahomes cards. I did a video this week. All of these dudes are 0 review guys for this 2017 Optic Hollow PSA 10. That's a card that I bought, I told you earlier in the show, for about $140, and it sold for $3,800. And the thing, I sold it like last year, but the thing is that all of last month, all the shill bids, in my opinion, were about $3,200, where the actual auction price, fair market value, was close to, I think, $2,500. And I just saw before this video, one of the auctions was $3,200 for Optic Hollow PSA 10. And then I saw a 0 review purchaser. And not only that, the 2 big places where people look for comps, they put it as an actual sale. Now, in the coming days and weeks, I'm pretty sure that sale will be removed, as this was a fake buyer.
Yeah.
But people depend on these comps from these applications, and they don't do anything about it until, give it a few days, and then the next sale comes up, they put that as an actual sale. And it's eventually, what's going to happen, I see in the next few years a recession, and people are just going to be fed up. I just see it all over my comment section. People are ticked. I don't know about you. I mean, you do different type of content. You do more interactions with people. Me, I don't look at just the a cheerful side of the hobby. That's what you do, right? I try
No,
to look at
I wouldn't say I look at a cheerful side of the hobby.
no.
I show people what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's the best way.
And I show people what I've done for years. Like this is not.
Okay.
I've been bidding on eBay since the 90s.
Yeah.
Nothing about eBay has changed really since then.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
we're talking about shill bidding, it's been going on for
It's been going on for a while.
This is not new.
It's not new, but you have to remember sports card interest is probably a lot of people are interested in it. And
well, would you say that interest started in 2020 or 2019? When did that interest start?
I think all of the excitement started about March of 2020. I mean, we were in it before. You were obviously in sports cards way before me. But yeah, a lot of people got in and they're burned and they're ticked off. And like I told you, I see it in the comments section all the time. Some people may be underwater, some people may not. And if these type of issues don't get resolved, even though they've been going on for a while.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
What would you suggest to stop or slow down shill bidding?
Well, it starts from the top, the so-called big auction houses on eBay. They should, I believe there's a feature where you could get rid of 0 review individuals just from.
But you do know there are people out there with 10 reviews, 15 reviews that are shill bidding.
Yes, that is true. And I would.
Because I remember when I first started on eBay,
yeah,
there were people that wouldn't sell to me if I had less than 25 reviews or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find my way through to purchase stuff to get up to that point,
right?
In order to even buy anything.
Yeah.
So there are people out here with less. I know we I think people draw to 0 reviews, but there are people out here with less.
Oh yeah.
Or what I always looked at when I was buying something is the activity level. How often have you sold something? If you haven't sold something for a while, I'm not even interested in buying.
That is true.
Let me let you go back to the original question. What would you suggest?
Yeah, I would just probably have all these individuals that are auction houses running it first start getting rid of the 0 review people bidding on it, and then you could determine, okay, who are the most willing to not pay, or who are the individuals not paying. And it's probably, like you said, individuals below 10 or something like that. And yeah, obviously there are people maybe with 5,000 reviews, they may shill bid something, but I've noticed that people with higher review count and those with all these positive reviews, those individuals are more likely to pay. So I think it comes down to that, because at the end of the day, if you are an auction house and you have all these 0 review people bidding on your cards, people will not want to go to you. They may just go elsewhere. So it is what it is. And anyone who tried to sell Mahomes last month is probably ticked off. I don't know who's selling that Optic Hollow PSA 10, but there's also the Panini Prism. I saw a lot of 0 review people bidding that up. So ultimately, people will get ticked off at these auction houses, and they're going to probably find some other way to sell these cards. They're going to go off platform, in my opinion.
So I know if you go to My Slabs, like I purchased some stuff off My Slabs, you can straight purchase. Have you purchased anything off My Slabs?
Not yet. I haven't yet.
Have you purchased anything off CompC?
I have purchased off of CompC, but I use their eBay because on eBay they ship quicker. Because I've heard all these complaints of if you go to CompC, they're slow in shipping. So that's what I do. Do you go use CompC?
I'll purchase off My Slabs. I use CompC as a research tool. I've never
interesting.
Anything off CompC.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I do a couple of things as research.
Yep.
Just to see what people are pricing something at.
Mhm.
And then I'll look and see if something has moved. So if a James Wiseman card is $120,
Right.
how long is it sitting there?
Right. Makes
So
sense.
is that like a real price or not?
That's smart.
Yeah, Brendan, Chicago's in the house, and no one debates deep dish over thin crust. I don't think so. I did tell someone recently though that if you're from New York, that's a totally different pizza. So if a New York person tells me they don't like Chicago,
Yeah,
that's,
it's all these New Yorkers, East Coast
yeah,
guys, like they always bash on what
yeah,
deep
yeah,
dish
yeah.
pizza, like
But if you're from
Luminati's.
Milwaukee or St. Louis or
Yeah,
Cincinnati, I can't listen to you about pizza.
yeah. Well, what's your favorite deep dish?
Uh, I mean, I'll go vegetarian. Also, which is not really talked about. If thin crust pizza in Chicago is very good. You go to places people talk about deep dish all the time, but when we were growing up, I got deep dish sometimes, but I really like thin crust pizza. The snap to the crust. To me, being from Chicago, the pizza is all about the sauce. So
Right, right.
that's what it's
Yeah,
all
I mean,
about.
like I think Giordano's and Luminati's has good thin
Oh
crust
yeah, they
too.
both have good pizza, but I'm from the South Side, so we have Beggar's pizza.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
Beggar's is not to be slept on.
I-
So now let's talk about. I know we got different. What we call them, names of groups in the hobby. You have collectors, you have investors.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
always believe that everyone wears every hat at some point, but I know people talk about these names, and then you have flippers. And what are your thoughts on flippers in the hobby?
So I have I have talked about flippers and I've thought about it myself. And I think those guys that are flippers, it's worked well for them the past few years. Now, the individuals that are still in the game probably have some decent skills. That what they probably do, in my opinion, is they go to collectors, they buy up collections. Obviously, they negotiate a decent price, and once again, you're paying a huge chunk up front, and then you have to take on the risk and try to sell it. So those guys are definitely, in my opinion, entrepreneurial. Now, there are definitely shady flippers as well. There's no doubt about that. And I have raised concern about those guys, but just flippers in general, I have nothing against them. I do believe that people can always flip, but it's just probably going to get much more difficult in the coming years, in my opinion.
Oh, it could. So just so everybody knows, like I look at cards like
Yeah,
any business market, right?
yeah,
There are different people in the market that do different things, and then
hmm,
they help distribute or move product around,
right, right,
whichever it may be. So
right.
I actually have admiration for a lot of flippers. I used to work a sales job that was heavily commission based, and you had to be on the grind all the time. And if you took a day off, like, I'm not talking about like PTO, like you took a day off, like I'm just going to chill today, that could cost you thousands of dollars just
Hmm,
from having that attitude. You didn't check your email, could cost you money.
right.
You woke up late, you missed out on the opportunity. You went to a big sales call with low energy, you may cause yourself a problem 6 months from now, right? So those people who are flipping, buying cars and then selling them, I have nothing but respect for them. That is not an easy thing to do. I will say this: I believe most people in the hobby couldn't do it. Too scared to do it. So when I see somebody flying around the country and getting off a plane, I want everybody to hear this from FD. And I bumped into some of these people at different shows, right? And I even invite them on here to talk. And a lot of them are younger in age. So I don't know in the hobby sometimes if there's an age split, if people think like these people are ruining the hobby because they do something different. It's almost
No,
like when rock and roll first came out,
right, right,
music. It's like when rap and breakdancing first came out. It's
right,
not
right.
going to last. Flippers play a strong role. So do breakers in what we do with sports cars.
Yeah, I think the age difference is I'm not bashing anyone in their 20s or anyone that lives, with their family, but it's a lot easier if you're living with family
Mhm.
that way. So you tend to see more people that are younger because, over here you're in what, California, right?
Yeah, I'm in California.
Yeah.
LA.
So California, Illinois, there's high property taxes. So, if I lived in a different state, I would have more money going to sports cards.
Mhm.
So, and also I have to pay my own mortgage and property taxes with that.
Mhm.
So I don't have that much money to flip. I could speculate, invest in cards, and I'm not rich. But it's a lot easier, in my opinion, if those individuals are living at home and instead of paying $10,000 for rent, you have $10,000 that you could add to your inventory.
Mhm. That is
So,
true. That's all true.
yep.
But I think that goes along with what people are doing.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
I
not
think
I'm not
any
bashing those guys that are doing it. I'm just saying it's probably a little easier for those that are young and probably made a decent amount of money during the pandemic.
Mhm.
That probably helped them too.
Yep. Yep. I knew people when I was in school that went to New York, worked on Wall Street, stayed 3 to 4 people to an apartment.
Hmm.
Those people slept in 2 beds and made millions on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Now, one could say, I have 4 kids, I can't do that. Or I have 2 kids, I can't do that. That
Right.
may be the case, but there are markets that thrive on people doing just that. And I see flippers is no different. They serve a great purpose. There are cars that move around this country
Hmm.
because they flipper bought them in one city and sold them in another.
Yeah, that's a positive way of looking at it. There's no doubt about that. There's one way of
I
looking
just
at it.
think I know you use the word positive. That's the real way of looking at it. That's the real side, right? At least that's the way I think about it. I'm not, bro. I want you to know, man. I'm not like a rah rah. If anybody knows me,
Yeah.
right? I'm not a blow smoke kind of person. I'm not like a rah rah kind of really positive. Everything is cool.
Yeah.
I see nothing. I have blinders on. I'm not that person.
Hmm.
But I can, from a business sense, look
Right.
at something and see what is going on here. What role? Now let's talk about breakers, right? There are some people that say, I really don't care for breakers. They're ruining the hobby. But I think breakers are good for the hobby because there are a lot of people who can't afford expensive cars that get into breaking. Now, a negative could be it creates a FOMO effect within people. But as
Yeah.
people, I just think we got to regulate ourselves. Anytime we go into a business enterprise, I
Yeah.
could eat too much McDonald's, right? I
Yeah.
could buy too much of this and can't pay my mortgage.
Right.
But if I regulate myself, I see the importance or what this section of the market actually does. What are your thoughts on flippers?
On breakers, you mean?
Excuse me, on breakers.
Yeah. So I think one good thing out of it is I think out of one of those breaks came out a scarce Mike Trout cart. And I
Mhm.
think Vegas Dave eventually had that and he sold that for millions of dollars. So if you're looking for that scarce card, breakers are good that way. And in terms of the negative, though, it could turn into an addiction and turn into gambling. I've seen people, I don't know if they've commented on your videos, but people said, hey, man, I've just spent, thousands of dollars on this break and, nothing's happening. And then, it could hurt someone's relationship. It could lead to divorce. It could, a girl could leave their guy because he's just spending way too much on breaks trying to gamble his way to make thousands of dollars. So there's the bad part of that.
Mhm.
Now there are obviously shady breakers. I'm pretty sure you've heard of.
Yeah. So when I'm talking about breaking, like
Yeah, you're not talking about those guys. Okay,
I'm not talking about that.
okay.
I'm
Just
talking
in general, I think the con could be just it becomes an addiction because they're like, hey, I could find that scarce kaboom Tom Brady card or the scarce Trevor Lawrence card. While some people may get it, what are the odds? I mean, it could be if you just want to spend a few $100 just one time just to get a thrill, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But doing it over and over and over again, I mean, there's consequences to that unless you're filthy rich.
So Michael Ham, which I respect a lot, he's always on here. Breakers are why we have more product and products so expensive. Example, a $200 box now costs $800. I can't disagree with that. I think breakers probably have a part of that. I think there are other things that have a part of that too. If prices are raised by companies on products and we don't pay for it, prices don't continue to go up. And I think that's bigger than breakers.
Yeah, it's supply and demand, and the demand has skyrocketed since the pandemic. So I think that's what it's all about. I wouldn't blame breakers for that. I think just breakers saw the opportunity and they said, hey, look, there's so much demand. We're going to charge this amount. Mm-hmm. And the minute, like you said, people stop going to breaks, probably in the next few years from now, prices will come down, in my opinion.
And I know we talked about people creating, like breakers creating places where people can feel like there's a FOMO and then it becomes an addiction.
Yeah,
I agree with all that, but we still know Las Vegas exists.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a whole environment based upon some kind of FOMO, and you may think that you're missing out on something. But I'm the kind of person, right? I can go to Vegas and I'm good. I don't lose anything. I'm not
right.
I'm not someone putting my rent or my mortgage on the line to try to win something. So I think a lot of people, and I made this argument before to some people I've talked to, like personally, or in a show setting.
Right.
A lot of people in the market have to show reserve for themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. We
have to be. Well, most of us that are talking on TV and talking about stuff on YouTube, we're adults. So there's a part of that we have to be responsible for how we spend our money, what we're doing with our funds. Are we investing? And then I have a lot of friends that invest in the stock market.
Yeah.
But then when I go across the road and I talk to those people, there's certain things I don't hear. You tell me if you hear this, Raul. Do you hear people talking about, I have a FOMO and I'm in credit card debt because I bought stocks?
No.
Why do you think that is, though?
I don't think they take credit cards, first of all, for depositing funds in the stock market.
Oh, but you can cash out cards to get money.
You could. There are some people that have done that. I read stories where, in 2009, someone just maxed out their cards and just put in the stock market. They made tons of money. I mean, they did it, when the market was at an all-time low. But yeah, I don't hear people just maxing out their credit cards. I mean, you probably see that in this hobby, which, I never even thought of that, because people are probably going into debt doing that. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it probably happened during the pandemic boom, because there were breakers back then, but all of this stuff, people thought, hey, it's a get rich scheme. I don't want to be left out, and that's why people chased, and then a lot of people got burned. And sure, there's this personal responsibility aspect. There's no doubt about that. That being said, also the leaders of the hobby should talk about this, which they have to a certain degree. But if they don't talk about it, you have to remember that if they lose customers that they didn't warn in the past, then they're going to actually lose more money in the long run. So it goes both ways. Yes, you are responsible for yourself, but the leaders and corporations, it is in their best interest not to dodge these issues, because it's probably going to hurt them in the future, in my opinion.
I got you. So Michael says chasing hits is a real thing. It is. I mean, I know people. There also is a gambling kind of undertone in the hobby, right? There are many people that I talk to that gamble on a regular basis outside of the hobby. So they kind of bring that same mindset to the hobby, which, that's a real part of things too. Card Market Media said, ask Drake. That's funny to me. Brendan, now, whoever thought bikini models as a selling point, well, I can't complain. Chance. Chasing hits is an addiction like gambling. It releases dopamines. This is a proven fact. Mervin, I miss going to Kmart and buying multiple 32-pack boxes for $35 to $45 each, late 90s. Mervin, I remember this. I mean, you could go to Kmart. You could go to Walgreens in Chicago. You could go to Toys R Us. There were cards there for you. You could go to your local 7-Eleven and pick up cards back in the day. You know, Richard, companies see how much people pay to join breaks. That's why the blaster boxes are costing $45 depending on. This is exactly right. Exactly right. Rookie car finder. I hate buying from breakers. They usually handle cars with no care. So let me just tell you this, Raul. You know how many breaks I've been in my life?
No, I don't know.
One.
Yeah, same here. Just went one.
I paid $30. I think $30 to get in. I got a Sam Donald rookie card, patch jersey, auto.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, that's cool, and kept doing what I was doing. It's never really something that has enticed me. Again, this is not me being like positive on stuff. I'm going to keep reinforcing this. This is me of years just thinking through. So back in the early 2000s, I would buy boxes of basketball, SPX and some other stuff with Brian and break it at home, open the boxes, put stuff in sleeves, top loaders. And then I stopped doing that. I stopped running the math on things and understanding, like, if I focus in on the card that I want, I'm going to do better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So that's why I started to buy graded cards myself. I didn't want to buy the raw cards because even though grading was cheap back in the day, I was thinking to myself, what if I get a 5 or a 6? Yeah, there may be times I may have hit a home run, and I have hit home runs. I've gotten PSA 10s of very scarce cards, but it's harder to get. So because a lot of the cards have damage if you're buying from an individual just selling on eBay. So yeah, I like to buy the card graded. Yeah, you pay more, but in my opinion, it was safer doing that as long as it's a real card. That's the only thing.
So now, what do you think of? Let's jump into. Let me hit some comments first. One break the rule tomorrow. Was Drake paid by Golden to break? That I do not know. I haven't heard any. Have you heard any information on that? I haven't heard any information on that. Stock market is long-term thinking. The current sports card market is about the quick flip. But I will say, I'm just going to let people know, like, when I'm collecting cards, I'm long-term thinking. When you see me buy a card in the episode, I'm long-term thinking. I don't buy anything just to have it for 6 weeks and then sell it. I'm thinking about, I do a lot of research, right? And this is what I think is missing. Let's get into this. I think this is missing. Raul, if you tell me to buy a Cooper Cup card, right? And then I go out and I march myself out and I buy a Cooper Cup card. And Cooper Cup is a flop. Let's say I paid $2,000 for the card. This is hypothetical. And Cooper Cup does not do well. What happens then? Am I bitter? Everyone out there, what happens then? Am I bitter? Am I upset? Do I have a problem with this situation now? Has the hobby done me wrong? Or I would ask the question, as the person buying the card, how much research should I put in? Did I look at Cooper Cup over his career? What is my eye test? What does he show me on the field? We can see that this young man has done very well. But so this is just an example. What has his card price? Where have they been in the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months? What's the trend on? Where are they going? Am I looking at all this stuff before I make a purchase? I don't know. I think sometimes people may even listen to others or go out and make purchases based upon a little bit of, or a small sample of information. But Thomas says, good morning, y'all, from the UK. Michael Ham, I collect 90% of long-term holds. Speak on that, Michael. Colorado. We'll wait for Raul to come back. Let's see here. Zion is a good example. Is he long or a short-term flip? I don't really own any Zion cards. I know people that do, and we've talked about it. And I think it's all going to depend on what kind of player comes back from this injury. Because before this injury, he was averaging 26 points a game. And one would say, well, what if he developed a jump shot? He may do better. But he was playing at a high level, people. Let's not forget who Zion was. He was playing at a very high level. Then he got hurt. And I think what was alarming to people is that he was seen overweight. I think that alarmed people. Then I think people went into this like, what's up with Zion? I think if Zion would have got hurt and still looked like his basketball self and then was out, the market probably would have responded differently to him. Yeah, the current YouTube market, there are a lot of flippers out there. There are a lot of flippers, but there are also there are also YouTubers out there who talk about their PCs, try to give information on what's going on in the hobby. I don't know. Some of them still have large subscriber bases. So just look for those people because they're out there. And you may see more and more of them. How you doing, sir?
Hey, sorry, my computer decided to restart in the middle, so I'm just on the phone. My bad.
We keep rolling, man. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Yeah. One person was talking about there's in the YouTube market.
Yeah.
Dominated by the quick flip. We do see that, but I was just saying that there are people who talk about their PCs, people who give information on the market.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that out there too, and some of these people have large subscriber bases.
Correct.
Yep. Chuck says there will always be another Cooper Cup. I gave a scenario while you were out of as far as if I'm a person looking to buy a card, and let's say you gave me information, and I went out and bought a Cooper Cup card, for whatever amount, and he didn't pan out. Then how do I feel? Do I feel burned by the market, or do I challenge myself to say how much research should I put in before I make that purchase, before I make that investment, before I want to make that quick flip? Do I know market trends? Have I done an eye test? Am I looking at the sport and asking myself, how does this person perform on the field? Have I done any of that?
Right. I think, it's still personal responsibility if you buy it on yourself. Now, if the guy says or the gal says, I guarantee something's going to go up, okay, then that's, a problem there. But
in any market, right?
Yes.
Can I guarantee you what Apple stock is going to be in a year from now?
No, you can't. But there are people that definitely say, use that terminology, even though in the equity market that's illegal. But there are people, on YouTube, unfortunately, some of them sell subscription models, and they said, I guarantee that this is going to go higher. So that's a problem.
That is a problem. So what do you think when you hear that? When you hear someone saying that? I guarantee this is going to happen with sports cards or with Zero Cool.
Yeah, I usually leave comments down below. I just like, why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? That's not right. I mean, I would say something like that. In terms of Zero Cool, I haven't heard anyone say I guarantee. I mean, there have been people that have been very bullish on it, and they may be right. But that being said, it seems to be
a Card Ladder put out some information the other day. Came out at 2,100 a box, went up to 16,000. I think right now it's around like 8 or 9, maybe even 6. I think it's at 6.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've been looking at that data too. I don't look at those sites. I try to just dig the information myself. But yeah, it's 2,100 first. It went to 16,000. It looked like shill bids around 15,000, some 13,000. And now, it's come crashing down. Like you said, I was seeing something about 7,000 the other day because people were buying in bulk. And I felt that with all of these alleged shill bids, that eventually demand would go lower, and these prices are going to come back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back to like $4,000 or $5,000, and there's a floor around there. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Just thinking out loud.
We'll see. So Michael Ham says, I put serious money in goats and some in top young players. So Michael's speaking my kind of language here, Raul. Like, this is what I do, right?
Yeah.
I'll buy go cards. I'll try to think about who's upcoming, who's coming next.
Right.
Because we
right.
all know that Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Ja Morant, all these people are going to retire at some point. Who are the next people coming? And he also says he buys serial number or SP cards. I do love ripping, but it's expensive. So I end up breaks. Quick flip is exciting. Long-term hold is boring. And this is the mindset, right? Long-term holding is boring. I've had people tell me that in person. Like, we'll sit and talk. I talk to people all the time, Ro, about the market, what's going on. I don't care who you are. If you do flip, break, if you're an investor, collector, I want to hear from you. I want to see what you're thinking.
Right.
So I start asking a lot of questions. We get into a dialogue. And almost the consensus, people tell me long-term is boring. People ask me, well, how much do you sell? Are you selling for your business? Are you doing? I'm like, no, I buy. And I've been doing this for quite a long time. I probably started back in my 20s.
Yeah.
Like when I bought the LeBron James rookie card, graded BGS 2003 Topps Chrome, right? I had no intentions of selling that card.
Right.
Because my eye test told me this guy is different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, LeBron James have we seen coming out 18, 19 years old, averaging 20-some points a game and distributing the ball. And he made Cleveland, I think his first year, they went up 20-some games, better wins than before he got there. When have you seen that? So my eye appeal told me this is a different guy. Did I know that he was going to get to a position where he may break Kareem's record? No. But I knew he was different than the players I had seen, Chris Webber and places like, he was different. Right? So when I see that, I just go down a totally different road that it seems like a lot of people don't go down. I could pull that card out right now. That card is sitting here right now.
That's interesting.
And I was when he came out, what was I? 20 some years old?
Yeah. I remember it was in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole media was speculating this guy's going to be the best new thing. And yeah, they were right. This guy definitely has a lot of talent. And I didn't expect him to accomplish as much as he has accomplished. But yeah, there are just some players that, exceed your expectations. And
then after that, I remember Sebastian Telfair came out.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I mean, a lot of people, I can't say everybody.
Right,
a lot of people ran to Sebastian Telfair.
Right.
Because LeBron was doing what he was doing.
Right.
None of us know where Sebastian Telfair is right now.
Darko Milicic, remember him?
Mm-hmm. Darko was supposed to be the man.
Yep. What happened?
He got drafted over Wade. He got drafted over Carmelo. It's not happening.
Yep.
So rookie car finder said, yes, I listed a raw Josh Green downtown for 100 and it sold in 5 minutes. That's quick flip. That's a cool card too. Mervin, society wants instant gratification. It does. And every day it wants more and more of that. And that's what the stuff that we talk about that goes into. My mind just doesn't work like that. I've always been like, I do my own thing, man.
Right.
I've never been a follower of people, man. I just never been that person ever since I was a kid. If we were walking home, man, I'll tell you this story. And I was in like second grade. And a bunch of kids said, we're walking this way, right?
Yeah.
I turned and walked that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my own thing. I don't get into the follower approach or the I got to do this because somebody else is doing that.
Right.
And then maybe that makes my take different on stuff because I'm like thinking about something for myself. I'll ask you some information on who you're collecting or what you're doing or this, that, and the other, but that's not going to make me go out and buy a card or get into something, Just doesn't do that for me. I'll take the good and bad. Michael, Brendan, that's a happy accident unless it's junk wax. What did Brendan say? No one who has ever rediscovered an old, long lost box of cards would say long term is boring. Telling you, there's something there. If you plan yourself right, long term is not boring. It's actually very exciting. At least I think so. So let me ask you about Marvel cards. Let's talk about Marvel. When I say Marvel cards, what do you think?
Right now, it's a pump and dump, in my opinion.
Okay. And why you say that?
Why do I say this, or why I think that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the prices have gone ridiculously higher. And it's in my opinion that there may be some influencers that are trying to drive this higher. And we know that Marvel has a low population count. So you can do that. And sure, there are some people that are chasing and some people that have thrown big money. I think Steve Aoki, the DJ, that guy, he's put, I think, a ton of money into it.
Mm-hmm.
And the time to buy Marvel, in my opinion, was 2020, before all this hype. I mean, some people have messaged me saying that, hey, and commented, I was buying in 2020 when it's quiet. I think that was the time to buy. I mean, times like this, I mean, there may be some markets that may look interesting to some or that have been quiet. I mean, I just bought a few Iron Man cards just because a lot of people, the movie's going to come and the Spider-Man cards went like crazy after the Spider-Man. So I'm thinking, okay, I like Iron Man. I don't know how much you're into Marvel.
Oh, I'm a lot into Marvel.
You're a lot into Marvel.
I grew up reading comic books.
Okay, there you go. So I mean, I like the Marvel movies. So I mean the Iron Man movies. So I just bought a few cards just because of that. I didn't put that much money into it, but yeah, I believe it is a pump and dump. Now, can I prove it 100%? No, but it's just my intuition that we've seen other markets go like crazy, and then they just drastically go lower after all that hype is out of the market.
So why do you think people really went to Marvel cards and started talking about Marvel cards? Is it because sports cards got too expensive?
Yeah, it's just a rotation. So just like in the stock market, people rotate from sector to sector to sector. And they're like, okay, which one can we go into now? So they're like, okay, we're going to go into Marvel. And Spider-Man movie came, and then people saw, hey, look, we need to keep on buying it. So it's just also FOMO, as you're talking about earlier. So it's just all these things.
So let me tell you about me. Like, I haven't went out and bought one Marvel card.
And you're a Marvel fan, though.
Yeah, I get into comic books.
Oh, okay.
So there's a split. I don't know if people want to talk about this or want to admit to this, right?
Yeah.
Comic book people are typically not Marvel card people.
Yeah.
It's totally different. So, I was reading comic books real young.
Yeah.
And I really get into the art around comic books. What does the cover look like? Who was the artist that drew them? What is the inside looking like? What are different panels looking like? I get into that, right? Yeah. Even if it's a graded comic, you can still look up online and see this stuff.
Yeah.
And know what it looks like. So that's what I get into, right?
Yeah.
If someone gets into Marvel cards, I respect. I mean, that's their thing,
Right.
It's just not my thing. That's not something that I get excited about.
Right.
There have been some Marvel cards that have sold for elevated market prices. I do realize that. It's still not something that makes me want to make a move on a Marvel card. I've asked questions before, as if you have an actor or an actress that's playing a certain role, and they autographed the card, and that card came out. Someone else may play that role in 10 years.
Right.
What does it do to the value of that card that's out and people are talking about? There's going to be new people playing Wolverine.
Right.
3 people play Spider-Man. There's 2 people that have played Mystique for the X-Men.
Right.
You're going to keep seeing changes because Hollywood has to have, for these characters, a younger look in these movies, right? So as time goes on, unless you're telling a Wolverine could be something that will last, because the story allows Wolverine, he ages slowly, and he has a look that could be a Hugh Jackman kind of look, right? But a lot of these characters are high school. So once you get beyond a certain look, how do you play that role? Someone else is going to play that role. How is that going to? So I'm coming at it from a long-term perspective.
Right.
We just talked about the LeBron card. LeBron's still playing himself.
Right.
That's where I look at sports cards. He's still doing his thing. He's still playing himself. Still looks the same, basically, right? But when we start talking about the third and fourth generation actor that's played this role, what does that do to the value of the stuff? I have no idea on that. Those are just questions that come to mind. That it kind of keeps me from getting hyped on Marvel cards. But I went to the Men Collective. I sat down with a collector of Marvel cards, and we talked for a while about Marvel cards. And I explained to him some of the things I was thinking, and he was telling me some of the things he was thinking.
Right.
You see it. I'm just not a person where if you're collecting something,
right,
you can go ahead and collect it. Now, if you're talking about somebody's coming on somewhere and they're saying that this is definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I wouldn't listen to that. Right. If somebody told me that, I'm not listening. There's no absolutes here.
Right.
Collecting market. But if someone does listen to that and make decisions based upon that, I will hope they would not do that. That's the only advice I could give them. Make your own decisions. So I'm just going to say this loud and clear to everyone. Do your research. Make your own decisions. Understand what you're spending your money on, and then go from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, that message, unfortunately, wasn't told by, people during the hype. It's
and
like
also, let me say this too.
Yeah.
In 2020, because I've never really talked about this. This is a good for this. As prices kept rising, I kept telling people, like in my family, people around here, I've just stopped buying certain things.
Yeah.
It just the market cannot continue. I buy on Monday and I sell on Friday.
Right.
You just can't continue to do that. So at some point, this thing is going to level out. But I always go back to, again, are people doing research? When's the last time somebody looked at a graph on the market price of a card?
I mean, they rely on all these apps now that show the price.
I don't even know if people. I ask people, man. I do a lot of talking to people.
They don't look at it.
Are you looking at these apps? Are you?
They're not.
No, sir. Do you know people? The people that you know that collect? They're looking at these apps on a consistent basis.
Probably not. Not the collectors. Maybe the ones that are speculating.
Telling you, I just don't see that, and I'm asking myself why. Why is that?
I mean, those that are collecting, I mean, it's probably in their interest to buy something that's not overpriced. I mean, maybe if, like I told you, I want to buy all these Bulls cards from the 90s, and there's some on my buy list, but I could probably get them cheaper in the next few years, and that's what I'm aiming for, just from a collecting point of view, not investing, because I don't care if I make money on it. It's just I want to show in my videos and talk about it.
What's your long-term goal when it comes to cards?
Long-term goals, like I told you, I want to collect all these decent cards of the Bulls. I want to eventually buy some of Jordan's old cards from the 80s, just from a collector's point of view.
Understood.
And sure, I may sell some of them in the future just to finance it. But yeah, that's my goal for the long term in terms of collecting. From an investing point of view, I mean, I think this thing is, you buy low and you sell high. You buy fear and you sell greed. And that's still more of a long-term play. I mean, I'm not going to flip like some of these entrepreneurial guys out there that do it for a living. But those are my goals for that. What about you?
I try to make decisions. I expect a certain return rate per year.
And
I make decisions based upon that.
Okay.
There are some cards that I buy because they bring back memories from when I was young.
Yeah.
I know that will always have a place. It's kind of how, like, and I don't, like, my children, right? I don't teach them to buy cars. I think
Yeah.
they're around me sometimes. They see some stuff, and then we get into a conversation. But
Right.
and like my 6-year-old enjoys Pokemon, so he talks about that.
Yeah.
G, who edits everything, is 17. He enjoys Pokemon.
Yeah.
I just teach my 6-year-old on put it in the sleeve, put it in the top loader,
Right.
stuff. Like, if you really like something, for whatever reason it may be, put it into something and protect it. I teach them basic skills like that, stuff that I started learning when I was older. And those are the kind of things I look at. But when it comes to cars, I'm expecting a certain return rate over time. I don't know if people look at things like that, right? You put your money in a 401k. They send you a report telling you how much you've earned in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
All right. You got a stock portfolio. You get a report.
Yeah.
Right? People buy cars and spend significant money. I'm not talking about someone who is in, like, the dollar bins and just wants to stay there. That's cool. That's what you do. But I'm talking about people who spend significant money on cars. And if you ask, sometimes I'll ask people that I know, because I don't ask people this question if I don't know them. What's your return on those cars in the last 9 to 12 months? They don't know. And I always ask myself about cars, like, why is that?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with cards, I was looking, just reading that card values don't usually go up for 5 to 10 years. That's how it was back in the day. And now
I think it's all depending on what you buy.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you buy a quality card and the guy exceeds expectations, then yeah, that card's going to go crazy.
Yeah.
But just a solid card,
Yeah, on average, probably market-wide, yeah.
Yeah, it takes time. And now everyone thinks that, hey, this is a get-rich scheme, but it's not. And that's how the industry is marketing it as. So, and I think that's why there's a lot of frustration, even though, yes, you are responsible for your own behavior, but at the same time, there's going to be a scapegoat. And I think it's just going to be against the so-called leaders of the industry or the hobby.
But like George D said, Gretzky's, Bronze, Brady's, and Jordan's.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would like to touch Brady probably after he retires, though, because I think, again, because when they retire, the price, goes down, and then
it does.
Once he goes to the Hall of Fame, then yeah, it's probably going to see a spike back up.
Well, over time, historically, it shows that when players go to the Hall of Fame, you don't see a great spike. We all know who's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
right? That doesn't creep up on us. Like we know Brady, as soon as he announces retirement, and on the 5th year he's going in. There should be something where, like, the next year he goes in, but there isn't. So the 5th year he goes in, everybody knows that. I think the market will respond. Like, I remember when Jeter went in. There was some numbers run on different shows, and then I looked at different stuff. His cars didn't really spike when he went in the Hall of Fame because everybody knows Jeter's going in 2020.
So yeah, I was telling you earlier. Wait, can I come back in a minute? I think I could go on my computer. It'll just be better. Yeah, hold on. They'll be back in a minute.
Love what you collect. I'm glad that you're here. Means a lot. We're rolling. I'll look at the apps so I'm not overpaying. That's what I would suggest for people to do. The information, the data is there. Now, I've talked to people who say, looking at data all the time is just not my thing. I can understand that. I've had jobs, so I've looked at a lot of data. So it kind of has become my thing. And I like looking at what I'm going to spend money on before I spend money on it. It's almost anything in my life. Before I purchase a TV, right? People know me, know. I go through a whole process of what TV am I going to buy, the resolution on the TV. I get down to the pixels. Now people are going to think I'm crazy, right? What's the size of the TV? What's the brand name on it? Because now you got large brand names, and then you got sub names that are linked to those brand names that have a different name on it, but the operating systems in a TV are very similar. So I get all into it, people, before I decide on what TV I'm going to buy. So, and that's no different than when I start looking at what card I want to buy. Big Daddy Cool, I'm always looking for rookie and early cards of players that transform the sport and will still be talked about 100 years from now. Long-term thinking, you Big Daddy. We have Jackie Robinson Day, and most know about his struggles. Yeah, Jackie Robinson kind of put it down. But what about Jack Johnson and Sugar Ray Robinson? Those two are great athletes to me. I was at a show a couple of months ago in Keene from the Bay Area. If you don't watch his content, please go watch Keene. He does great work. He talks through stuff. He explains things. I love the way he does his thing. He has some Jack Johnson and Sugar Ray Robinson cards on his table. And we got into a conversation just about how you don't see this stuff, but you should see it. Like, it's just, they're beautiful. So I get excited about that. I'm waiting for the government auction of Nat Turner's estate when he is arrested in some horrible scandal. Interesting, Brenda. Wow, interesting. Okay. Rookie, people love Marvel art, but do they own a piece of art or follow the artist? It's a good question. But, you know, I enjoy sports art and other forms of art. I kind of get into that. I think I've always been like that for most of my life, and then it has grown within me. That is, I understand the statement. Hingo, exactly. It takes years ultimately. Yes. It does take years, but it's all about, to me, when does the clock start? I think we're talking about the performance of your cards. When does the clock start, though? What are you buying? What is it? Are you back, sir? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, just going through some comments here.
Yep.
Colorado Sports too. Anybody going to the MLB game this year at the Field of Dreams field? I wish I was. I hope to get there one day. Is there only one game there this year? I think so, but I don't.
Is it the Cubs this year?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is the Cubs. Should be a great game. I love that stuff. Rookie card finder, LeBron's son going to blow the market up soon. Do you all think Bronny is a very good player? Is it people seeing Bronny play?
I've heard he's good, but I don't know too much
hype
about him.
around him may blow it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. When Brady retires, he may go straight to the Hall like Gretzky. He should. What is Brady sitting around waiting 5 years for? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Brady cards are safe money. Might yet spike again. I think they will spike again, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. There's some great buys for Brady, though. If people pay attention, you're doing your research. There's great buys for Brady. Yeah, so let's talk about what else you want to jump into?
What do you think content creators, what's their responsibility in terms of what's going on? Like, over the past few years, the card market went up. Yeah, you said that you didn't want to buy cards. And now there are a lot of people that are underwater, and sure, there's personal responsibility tied behind it. But what do you think people that are content creators, should they be more careful in what they say? Because, you know, you're just watching some people really disgust me. Some people are on the borderline, and some people I truly respect. So what do you think people should do, in your opinion?
I can only answer about what I do.
Yeah,
I'm not in the business. I don't spend my time telling people what they should be doing.
Yeah,
I don't do that on anything. And it was well before rolling with FD.
yeah,
That's just how I live my life. So what I do is I show people from day one that we started the channel of what I actually do. Right. I've been going to shows. I've been going to the shows in Chicago, like the one that happened. I've been going to the National in Chicago for years, man.
Yeah.
For a long time. So I've seen shifts in the market. And I've always been the kind of person that likes to be involved in what the market is doing, right? I'm going to go out and spend time. I don't know what other people do. But I'm going to go out and spend time, talk to people. Anyone from vintage all the way down to what is the new thing at the time. So we went to the National this past year. I talked to breakers, talked to flippers, talked to individuals that have been in the hobby since the 70s and ran businesses since the 70s. And you talk to that person, you know everything that has happened over time and how you have to respond to it if you still want to be around. If you want to be relevant and be around and be a good person, that's like, when I say good, like you're practicing good business principles, right? When I talk to those people, a lot of them embracing breaking and what it does for the hobby. So I try to show, what am I actually doing? The conversations that we have are real conversations. Like, we're not talking off camera and then we hit the sticks and then we're live on Rolling with FB, and we're negotiating the deal with some other stuff behind that people may not know about. We don't do that. We keep it real. I'm rolling with my son, right? So I'm teaching him more about meeting and greeting people. That's the undertone of the show. What kind of conversations do you have with folks? What does a handshake at old school principles? What does a handshake mean? Something my grandfather taught my father. That's what I'm trying to, that's what we're all about. And then I try to spend time with young collectors, people that may be 12, 15, 10, 8, 16 years old. I try to, when they come up, if they're talking to me, I try to talk to them about what they're collecting. Given a lot of them have self-doubt about what they have in their hand compared to what they just saw on YouTube or what they saw on that table over there. Like, if you saw a $40,000 card over there and you're 9 and you have maybe $60 in cards in your hand, I try to talk to them about patience, making the moves that you can make as you can make them, learn from each one. Right now, it's really about applying principles to what you do. I try to talk to people about that. I would hope that more people are doing that. If you have a channel or not, because to me, it goes beyond the channel, right? We may say, like you asked the question, what should content creators do? Well, I'm at shows and I see people that don't watch YouTube, that don't treat people fairly, that are not nice to younger collectors, that don't have conversations with people that are new to the hobby. I've been places where some people are selling vintage. If you're probably under 18, they don't even want you by their table. And they'll tell you that. So now, where is that in the hobby? Who's responsible for that? That's bigger than YouTube. That's bigger than what a content creator is doing. I think the hobby as a whole just, has to take some steps to make it a better place for those who are coming after us. My son is 6. When he's 36, if he's interested in cars, what environment is he going to be in? And that's well beyond content creators.
That's true. It's probably going to be. Now, the thing is that I wonder what Fanatics is going to do to all of these LCSs and all these stores. I mean, are the card shows going to be the same? I mean, you have more experience in that, so you could probably speak to that.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that, because Mervin says would love to get a signed Spawn comic. That would be nice. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm pretty sure there are LCSs now who are probably building relationships with the Fanatics. Found out more about what does Fanatics plan in the future.
Right.
How can they play a role in that? I don't know that. Nobody has talked to me. Again, I'm just thinking about if I was a business owner.
Yeah.
Luber has come out and said some things about shops.
Yeah.
How he wants to build a relationship with them.
I don't know if I believe that, but
you don't believe that at all?
I think there's still going to be some stores out there, but I mean, how is Fanatics going to make money? I mean, it's not going to be selling to the distributors now. I mean, what they're probably going to do, they're probably going to sell more direct to consumers, as the CEO of Fanatics said. What's his name? Ruben? I mean, that's their model. I mean, I could see what they do is take some of the scarce cards that they have, send it off to PSA, and then get those cards back and then sell it to the consumer directly and then get the money that way, rather than do it the old-fashioned way. And yeah, they're still going to sell some to distributors, but I don't think it's going to be that much.
So you don't see LCSs playing a role at all?
There's going to be LCSs, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they've been. I don't know if you think that. But.
Well, let me just say this, right? I think anytime you go into a business, you walk into someone's business, some are ran a certain way and some are ran another way, right?
Yeah.
Growing up on the South Side, I would go into some LCSs where people would talk to me like I knew nothing about a car for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right. Or they would not talk to any customers at all and really let the car sell themselves. Now, long term, I don't know what that business is today. I don't know how that works, right? I would think any business someone's walking into, customer service is going to be important. So I think if you're a business out here you're running an LCS and you're focused on customer service and growing your business, I don't know why Fanatics wouldn't work with you. I don't. Maybe I'm naive, right? I don't know why you wouldn't. That's another arm of distribution. Why would you not take advantage of that?
I mean, like Ruben said that he wants to get rid of all the middlemen. So I'm thinking, okay, the middlemen sell to the LCSs. So, I mean, Fanatics could.
I don't think that's speaking to the LCSs, though. Yeah. Is that speaking to them? Are they the middlemen?
I mean, no, it's the distributors. So I think Tops and all these guys, they sell to the distributors, and then the LCSs buy from the distributors. They have the relationship with the distributors. So the distributors, I think, are going to get obviously hosed by this. And then after that, how will Fanatics work with all of the market? Are they just going to sell off their website? I mean, it'd be a bad look if they just did that in the beginning. I think it's probably going to be a gradual phase out.
What if Fanatics sold directly to LCSs?
Yeah, that'd be smart. I mean, is that what Josh is saying?
I haven't heard him not say that. I listen to everything that is said. I don't miss anything.
Yeah.
Everything. And then I may watch some stuff 2 times. I've never heard him not say that. LCS to me is a distribution arm that's strong. Why would you not take advantage of that? You're in a community. Let's say you've been there 20 years.
Yeah.
And you try to progress your business. And I grew up in that community. And I come there and shop. Why would Fanatics not take advantage of it?
Well, Fanatics may just sell directly through their website.
Well, let's say you offer different products in different places.
Yeah. I think Josh and the whole all of his team, they want to probably look at all of these stores and see which one has the best metrics in terms of who buys what and that. So they're going to probably sell to those stores that have the best information, and also stores that are keeping themselves. I mean, they're organized, long story short. Some are not organized at all. So they're going to probably go to those places where they can market themselves the best. I think, yeah, they're not going to get rid of it completely, but they're going to be very picky, in my opinion.
Oh, they could be. They could be. Hey, I'll tell you this. I've lived in different states. I've traveled a lot. I used to go on vacation, bro.
Yeah.
And when I dropped in the city on vacation, I went and visited a car store.
Oh, okay.
I've seen a lot of car stores, man. I've seen some that are stellar, and I've seen some that I'm surprised this place is even open.
Right.
Because not only how they treat people, the level of inventory. Like back in the day, I want everybody to know that back in the day, you could go into a store and let's say some new cars have been released. You're not going to see it in the store. And you may not see it for a few months. So I don't know if that's going to continue. So I've seen a lot of different stuff over time. And I always tell people too, like, you know, I do a lot of research and spend a lot of time understanding what's in markets and listening to what those that may be at a certain level are talking about, because they have a moving control over what's happening. Because I was a kid that walked into stores, LCSs, and people act like I knew nothing. And that just started something in me that I will always be on top of my game when it comes to what's going on in the car market, what's happening with cars. I'm usually never at a loss. If I am, then it's a learning moment. And I'm humble enough to take that. But I just like to, it's cool. I think it's cool to speculate on stuff. And some of the speculation I've talked to people about has, some things have happened out. There were some people that were talking to me about zero cool and what they thought was going to happen with it. And the market seems to be showing that. And that didn't surprise me. But I think zero cool was an attempt. And I think there are going to be other cars coming out.
Yeah, Jackass.
Like Jackass. And there'll be other stuff coming out this year to the end of the year and into 2023. That is an attempt to take the same size that we all know about as far as a car, put different things on it and make it appealing to other people. So there may be even more offerings that, as if you're a traditional sports car collector or even a Pokemon collector. I remember when Pokemon came out. People don't talk about this. I remember when Pokemon came out and people thought that was trash. Straight trash. And where's that market today?
Yeah, it's gone crazy since 20-some
people
years.
Say,
yeah.
People will play with this, but they'll never grade them and take care of them and worry about their condition. That won't happen.
Right.
And we see now that that's happening. So, I mean, I don't know, what happens in the future. Chan says Fanatics needs to stock up on LCSs again. So we can go support our LCS and have a safe place to break and trade instead of getting guns pulled out in Walmart and Target. This may be, I think the LCS is going to serve a lot of functions going forward. And some of what Chance is talking about here, I think, is a part of the process. You're going to see your local card store doing more trades. I was just on a live last week with Stack and Sale. He's a guy who buys and sells out of Chicago. Right?
Okay.
He says he goes to his local car store, or they try to set up for a show, and the owner of the facility won't let them trade. Just think about that.
Is there liability reasons? Is that what it is?
No, I think it's just a mindset. That is in the hobby. I want everybody out there to know that. That's in the hobby. The change that we talk about, new stuff. Like when I was young, when I was 18, 20, there was no trading. Yeah. There was no function of trading. You and I may have some cards, and we may do some trades, even though they were called trading cards. There was no event that people went to. So if that person is used to that, then, because if you don't have trades, then you don't have certain people coming into your business. Right? If I have $500 into one card and I don't have a lot of disposable income, I may want to move that 500 to something else through a trade. But if you're saying no trades, then certain people are not walking in that door. And those may be players in the market 20 years from now, 15 years from now. It might be people that like me, walked into a store, people are talking to me like, you don't know. I've already done research. And I don't forget that. It actually drives me now. When I meet someone and we're talking about cards, that I will hope they're on that game because I'm on my game. Rookie card finder, CSG long-term sell, boring. Yeah, some people think that. Card market media, very true. Now it was hot Pokemon. Then we got Hingo. Old Josh said, imagine seeing slab cars before the boxes come out. Dude is trash. Monopoly is illegal. Hero 3, Pokemon was big. The problem was people was playing with them. Yep, playing with them. And that's what I'm talking about. People were saying they would never grade these cars. People are too interested in playing with them. But I think markets kind of develop and create on their own. You never can sit down and really predict everything that's going to go on over time and the perceptions of things. Because I also remember when grading cards first started, people were reluctant on that. They didn't want to grade cards. There are some people now that sit on grade cards. You go to the National, you go to some of these shows, and there are some vintage people that still have rubber bands around top loaders. They're not grading those cards. It could be a great place if you go through them and you find something special. But then you're not going to see a BGS 8 over there or a PSA 10 over there. It's not happening. Rookie card finder. Pokemon had a cartoon on after school every day, though. They did. I remember that. Brendan, yep. Back in the day, Pokemon was expected to last. Not at all. Especially not these just from different versions that you have. Not at all. So Rookie Car Finder says, what's your channel about?
My channel is about sports cards and taking somewhat of a finance twist. Talk about a whole bunch of things too. You know, this past week I was talking about shill bidding. I talked about zero cool. You know, just other topics people don't cover. I mean, you probably have covered these, but
I'd like to talk about anything, really. That's why I want to talk to you today.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to have conversations with people.
Right.
And these are not arguments. These are
these are just discussions.
Because people come from different viewpoints.
Right.
When did you enter the hobby? What are your goals? That's why I actually said, like, what are your goals of the hobby?
Right.
What are you thinking about long term? What are you thinking about short term? What cars do you invest in? All of that kind of tells a story.
Right.
In its own right. So that's the kind of stuff I like talking about. Steady Family Cars. Didn't Michael Burry buy a bunch of GameStop for the same reasons? Video games went digital, but the thought was stores became a meeting place to show off new product. Do you ever talk to anybody that maybe collects or buys and sells graded video games? That's a market I don't know a lot about.
I think Dustin, personal or
I know he buys.
Yeah, he's into that. He hasn't done videos on his other channel, but he probably would know much more than other people. But it's a market that I don't follow. I mean, I used to play some of the Nintendo games that have sold like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they sold for that much in like a high grade. What is it, WADA, which is now owned by PSA?
Mm-hmm. And then Michael Ham says car owners want the trade or sale and don't like you doing their business in their store. That could be a perspective. I respect that. Rookie Car Finder said, I like smelling raw cars.
Oh boy.
Okay, Rookie. All right. Way to break that down. Chance says, I remember at lunch trading Pokemon in high school. It was awesome. 2001, 2002. I think I came along a little bit when Pokemon was getting started. I was older, but I remember talking to some people about it. Chan saying before the bus came, California time. Yep. Brendan, some of the first graded cars were sold on Shop at Home with Don West. You all remember that? That was crazy. And I was sitting there thinking in my parents' living room, like, if they're selling this at these numbers, how is this stuff rare?
Yeah.
I remember thinking that at a young age. Yeah, Dustin is one of those diverse collectors. Yes, he is. Dustin, I respect him a lot. He thinks through things, talks through things. And what the coolest thing about him is that he's humble enough to say, I don't know that.
I like his channel. He's one of the, guys that is willing, just like you're willing to listen to people with different points of views. I think that's a good idea, especially today, in terms of sports cards, where, a lot of people have different opinions. And sometimes, I was talking to Ziggy, I had him on. I don't know if you saw that podcast, but he said that people from, all sorts of views in sports cards or whatever type of cards, they need to just have a conversation. And
they really do. That's what I think.
Like a lot of people, been, hating on Jeff Wilson. And what Ziggy was saying is like, hey, someone that doesn't like Jeff Wilson and Jeff Wilson should get in a room or have a conversation and then just talk it out. They could be like, here's where you need to improve. And he could say to the other person, here's where you need to improve. And I think that would be good for the hobby. I think that would reduce the amount of, rage that people are having right now. I mean, I just see it, in my comment section, like all the time, like people saying, yeah, and this needs to stop. Even though some of the stuff has been going on for a while, it's just that, a lot of people are frustrated from what I'm getting at.
I always wondered this. Let me ask this question. Right?
Yeah.
Jeff is at like what 149,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
How did he get there?
Didn't he start out in YouTube much earlier than other content creators? I don't know when you got on.
I don't know about much earlier. I remember he went to I think the 2019. Yeah, 2019 National. I think he was filming himself. But my point is, he has 150,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that some of those 150 have a problem with him.
Some of those 150,000 subs have a problem with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's true. I mean some people
so that would mean at one point they were listening to Jeff, and they didn't have a problem.
I think during the pandemic, everyone was riding the gravy train, and he's the guy with the most subscribers, and there needs to be a scapegoat for whenever people lose money.
This is where I'm going. Speak on that.
So whenever people lose money, they need to find a scapegoat, and he is probably the easiest scapegoat because he used to, I believe he used to talk about, hey, these cards, these are our picks, right?
Yes, he did.
And,
yes,
he did.
Yep.
So now things have calmed down. So people are like, hey, you used to do this and blah, 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 blah. And you have the top 5 cards. And some people are going to say, hey, that's a pump and dump. Right. Even though it's probably not. It's just.
Well, let me just tell you this, though. On my channel, right? I've had people leave comments asking me to do what Jeff does.
And if you did that, then some people would definitely love you for that, and some people would say, are just like, they would go at you hard.
That's right. Some people would say, FD, you cause me a problem.
Yeah, that's true. So
but you see how that works, though, right?
Yeah,
that's how that works.
Yeah, I mean, the more
then if you have your own mind and you're creating the content that you want to create, like, man, you don't buy enough on your shows. I need to see you spend more money on your show and get more pickups. Well, I just got a comment the other day. I would like to see you do more pickups on your shows. Did I explain to them the whole card show market has changed?
Yeah.
Please know if you're in a state that you're not going to card shows have somewhat changed. Let me say as a overarching umbrella. There's card shows that I go to that are the same as they were about a year ago. I mean, I'm talking about the quality of cards that's on the table, the vendors having conversations with you, people being willing to negotiate with you. And those are the card shows that I go to on a regular basis. But then I have been to other shows or other environments where it's not like that. And a lot of them are like bigger shows sometimes. It's not like that. You have some people who believe that the cards sell themselves on the table. You'll see a vendor behind the table 4 feet behind, 5 feet behind the table. They're not really there to talk to you.
They're trying to sell you something.
They're here to sell you something, but the cards speak for themselves. Like, you should see that card and be like, oh man, that's the second year Klay Thompson card. Wow. And then that card has sold you already. Yeah. I don't need to really talk to you.
Yeah, I think some people though, are just quiet, right? That's the thing. It's personality based. I could tell that, you like to talk to people, right? So I could see you, if you were a vendor, you'd be talking to people, right? It's not about the sale. Like someone who is usually more reserved, I'd probably be quiet, and it's not that I'm trying to be a jerk or anything like that, but that's just my nature, right? So it may not be that, they are just trying to, sell you the card. It's just maybe their nature and the personalities. Like, everyone is different.
It could be, but something tells me that card shows are going to be much more selective about who is setting up at their shows.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think it reflects on the show.
Yeah, because I remember, going to the Chicago Spectacular show. Like, some people would, come and talk to you, hey, how's it going? And some people, like you said, they're just they're quiet, right? And then
I think conversation, this is just my opinion, I think conversation and human interaction, as long as you have a shell, it's going to be more and more important as we go forward. Now, if I'm at home buying on eBay, I still put, bro, if I was buying for you on eBay and I really want this card, I'm going to hit you with a couple of comments, a couple of notes.
Yeah.
I'm going to humanize this situation. This is not just a, oh, you put a card up and let me buy it. Like Brendan said, vet the dealers. Why not? There's going to be more of that. If you're a dealer at a show and you have poor interaction with people, or you're rude, or you talk down to people of color, women, and children, because this is happening out here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to ask you about that.
Yeah, you have more experience at shows, so I can't speak to that. Usually I'm, on eBay just buying my stuff all the time. Like I said, I'm going to hit probably the Chicago shows, and, when they bring the National back to Chicago, I'll go to that. But yeah, you have more experience to speak on that, so I can't comment on that.
So Rookie says Carl Letter is Jeff Wilson's opposition, but Carl Letter just did a big deal.
I think Jeff Wilson had the opportunity to be bought out by PSA. Mm-hmm. So I think they went to Jeff Wilson first. He declined.
Oh, you think that's how that went down?
No, Jeff said that PSA went to them in the comment section in one of the videos. I think Dustin's video. He said that PSA sent us an offer. We declined it because we want to be independent. And I think they're going to probably do like more eBay related materials in the future. Okay. Not just sports cards. I think that's how they're going to expand.
Colorado says, you think the Triple Crown in baseball would be difficult for many years down the road because of so much great talent in the game currently? Yeah, I think so. I think what Miguel Cabrera did is Frank Robinson, Carl Yastrzemski, and Mickey Mantle. Very difficult. Very difficult to do. So, yeah. But my thing is, do people respect the Triple Crown, though? If you're watching the game, do you know how difficult that is?
Yeah, I mean, these days now, it's analytics. So, like, people are slicing and dicing stats. Like, yeah, it must be much more harder. So, you said Miguel Cabrera was the last guy to do it. What was that? 2012 or something? I don't remember the year.
I don't remember how many years ago it was.
Okay.
But he was the last.
He won the MVP in 2013. I don't remember. Yeah.
So. Investing is like skinning a cat. There are numerous ways to do it. Wow, Chance. That's some kind of analogy, right? For all the cat owners out there, or the pet parents out there. Wow. Brendan, the way things are going, bikini models will be doing the selling. I don't know if we'll get there. PSA bought card letter, I thought. Did PSA buy card letter?
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm. Brendan, it may not be right, but if it works. Are you talking about the bikini models? A card market media, Triple Crown has and always will be difficult. But keep in mind, Vlad Jr. came close just last year. He did, but a lot of people have come close. If you look at the history of baseball, a lot of people have come close. A lot of people on that Vlad Guerrero list. It's about, can you do it, though? Think about how many people that almost pitched a no-hitter.
Yeah, so many. Then it's like 2 outs, and then
somebody
base it.
Loop single.
Yeah.
Hingo, the way things are going, celebs are going to be breaking. Yeah, there's going to be more celebrity interaction, I think, and there's going to be more interaction with athletes. More and more and more and more. And I think, I don't know. I think that could be a good thing. I don't know. It all depends on how it's conducted, what goes on there. But I think people meeting athletes is, I hear a collector saying, I wish I could meet so-and-so. I wish I could talk to so-and-so. I think you're going to have that opportunity. Colorado Sports too. What Ohtani did last year, if he does that again 2 or 3 or 4 more times, he's going to be a Babe Ruth. I always say this, right? I want Ohtani to play. I'm kind of selfish on that. I want him to be on the field. I don't want to be talking about, man, you remember that one year? So I would hope he chooses to pitch at some point. Probably not going to be this year. Pitch or hit. Do one
He's
of
going to hit
I would
because
hope.
you could play with more injuries as a hitter than a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
You have arm problems, on pitching career's over.
What are your thoughts on Barry Bonds? What do you think about Barry Bonds?
I think that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Should there be an asterisk? Yes. I mean, before, he obviously got bigger. He was a Hall of Famer. He used to steal so many bases, just hit so many home runs. I mean, that's what I think about it. I don't know what you think.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I go back and forth with like, should there be an asterisk by saying because he never failed a drug test.
But didn't Lance Armstrong, pass all these drug tests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's just hearsay with Bonds.
So it's all hearsay. I thought it was proven though that he took it, right?
I don't think he failed the drug test.
What about the Mitchell report? Didn't the Mitchell? That's so long ago. I don't remember. Didn't it come out that he was busted in it, or was that other players?
I think that was other players, and I think Bonds, where people made statements about he was given drugs, the cream and the clear, and then there was a book that came out that talked about the whole process and how it happened.
Yeah,
but he failed a drug test.
I know he didn't fail a drug test. Like Sosa didn't fail a drug test either. Or no, wait, Sosa. They started drug testing in 2005.
I thought Rafael Palmeiro failed.
Palmeiro failed. Yeah, I think that was the case.
He was taking basically like horse hormones, allegedly.
That's insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I think you have players who have failed. You have players who you don't have any evidence on, just like hearsay. So what do you do with those people?
I mean, like Sosa, I mean, you could tell. I mean, he got skinny when he went to the Orioles in 2005. That was just...
Well, I remember with the White Sox when he first came up.
He wasn't that
he was a very little guy. Yeah, very little. And he swung at everything.
Right. And
Brendan says I guess he believes that Bonds should not be in the Hall of Fame. Rookie card finder says cheating is cheating. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
What if there's a famous basketball player that is caught taking something? I wonder what that would be like. We always focus in on basketball because what was it, 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
There were a few players in the NBA that got caught taking stuff, PEDs. They were suspended for a given point in time. Rashard Lewis was one of them. I don't know if you remember Rashard Lewis, Orlando Magic. He was a player that was allegedly taking something. He played with Dwight Howard back in the day. But what happens to those players? Because we see some people that's doing some stuff that we have really never seen.
Do you think that it's because they changed? Are you talking about the offensive side of basketball?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, remember the 90s, how the defenses were tough back in the day? Defenses could do much more.
Yep.
So that's why they're scoring so much. I mean, I get frustrated.
Handshake back in the day, right? I could put my hand on your hip.
Yeah, exactly. You could do that. And now it's the defenses aren't, up to par. I mean, I watch the Bulls and I just see these huge scoring games. I'm like, what's going on here? I don't watch too much basketball, but I do watch the Bulls, and I just see that, wow, this is not like the 90s. 90s was like the best.
It was all
defense. Mean, it's all defense. I mean, 80s probably was better, but I was too young to remember that. But 90s, I just remember that was the time to watch basketball.
But, Big Daddy, he was charged by a federal jury, but he never failed a test. Sosa also did cork bats. He did everything he could.
Sosa was something.
To get that ball out of the park. Brendan says one could argue if Bob Uecker should be in the Hall of Fame. That's true. People could argue that. And then I know people talked about in the 60s, early 70s, people took greenies as something to keep them upbeat, especially when they were playing back-to-back games in the heat. Sammy Sosa used to be called Sammy So-So.
So wait, also you're saying that some of the players used some substance. Didn't some of the players, pitchers, use some sort of substance to just
Well,
grip the ball?
you've had people using Vaseline, sandpaper, all different
Yeah,
types of
all
stuff on
that
a
stuff.
mound.
And then like what Garrett Cole is using, what, spider tack?
Yep. And then you've also had certain pitchers who have used other substances
Yeah.
to free their mind while they're on the field. That has been known for a while. So those kind of things get talked about. Barry Bonds was named into the Balco report. He's 100% taking it. Yeah, all this happened, Big Daddy. I'm gonna tell you, all this happened. You can't find any evidence of him failing a drug test.
So let me ask you this though. Don't you think that he just got really big in what was the year? Like 2006,
It was
2007?
right after. Yeah, it was right after like Sammy and Mark McGwire.
Yeah, so he just like bulked up and I was like, dang, he got
Put on
big
30, 35 pounds of muscle.
in
Yeah.
muscle. I didn't know if that was authentic. I thought it was roids. I mean,
Oh, it could have been, but I'm just going by
mhm.
he never failed a drug test.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't see something that looked different.
Yeah.
Bonds was what, 180 pounds, something like that, with the Pirates.
I remember Mike Tyson used to like pass drug tests by coming up with creative ways. I forget what he did, but I think Tyson used roids at some point. But I need to do more research on that.
Yeah, you know, I'll just say this, right? I played some sports. I never took anything, but I played with people on the team that did.
Yeah.
And the reasons why they did was recovery. A lot of times it's just not about becoming really big. That's a side effect of it, but it's about recovery. Because when you're 35, 37, you don't recover the same way as when you were 21. 22.
Right.
So that's what it's really all about. So sports are more and more competitive every year from a physical standpoint, right? So there could be a lot of people taking stuff that we don't really know about. I don't know. You never know. But drinking Gatorade is cheating. I can bike an extra 10 miles when I have Gatorade compared to Powerade. It's true, Chance. Michael Ham, Lawrence Taylor played for years on cocaine. Yes, he did. He admitted that. And he was dominating. Playing out of his mind. Bronny, genetics 101, huh? Reversion to the mean. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Bronny does. I wish him the best. Anytime there's a athlete whose parent was a dominating athlete, I wish them the best. It could be a cold world for that person coming out. If they don't play up to par or what their parent did, it could be very interesting. Kids don't know Bonds. They know Griffin. Okay. Who are you talking about? Blake?
Griffey or Griffin?
Yeah, no. A rookie car finder. Let us know. You're not allowed to play defense anymore. No, you're not. It's an offensive game. And we know that offense brings ratings. It brings people in the seats at the stadium. That's really what that's all about. Car market media. Peter. Don't know what you're referring to there.
Peter Griffin, Family Guy, probably.
Oh, really? Family Guy? Pitching is insane, especially if you do it for a living. It is crazy, man. I don't even understand how Nolan Ryan did what he did for as long as he did. Duke, Carolina.
Satchel Paige was a pitcher, right?
Yeah, he was a pitcher. Pitched for
so
a long.
How did he pitch? I think he pitched in his 40s, and then he pitched in his 50s a little bit.
Yep.
Crazy.
So right now, Duke is 74. North Carolina 75 with 47 seconds left. Now, before this game started, I predicted that North Carolina was going to win this game. You watch college basketball?
Yeah, I watch usually the championship game and all that stuff.
So this might be Coach K's last game.
Yeah, that'd be crazy to leave on that note.
We'll see how this ends, and we'll know where we were when the last game ended. All right. If you aren't cheating, you aren't trying. A lot of people believe that. You got to be doing something. Do quarterbacks factor in? Yes, they do factor in. I have a customer in minor league who said they juice. It was kind of norm. I'm telling you. I think as you get closer to sports and you talk to some people that's in the trenches of sports, like this stuff is not. It's not. It's not crazy. Like when I played ball, I had some people offer me stuff. No, I never did that. Again, I had this long-term thing going on. And I had a coach. This is also a story I tell people. I had a coach who used to squat a lot of weight. He was a power lifter at one point. And he would take stuff and he always would tell us, please don't ever do this. Because it affected him later on in his life. He was a very nice man, but it affected him physically later in his life. Keep in mind how many times Bonds was walked and still had that many home runs. That's because when he connected with the ball, it was gone. Mike Tyson doesn't read. He stares at words until they tell him what he wants to know. I had a chance to go into when Mike Tyson did his live interpretation of his life. I had a chance to go to that. It's eye-opening. It's eye-opening. I'm glad that Mike Tyson is okay today. There's a lot of stuff that he got into that it's eye-opening. So now, what's your next? Let's go back to the hobby.
Yep.
What are you looking for now on eBay?
What am I looking for on eBay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, I'm looking at basically anything Jordan and anything Griffey, not Griffey, Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these goats, cards under $40, graded and shipped to my home. That's just my eye, because I told you that we're gonna probably have a recession, and what's probably gonna hold up, in my opinion, during tough times, people are still gonna flock to those cards. So I just want to look at those type of individuals, and then eventually Brady. After he retires, though, I don't want to touch it while he's playing because there's still hype around him. But eventually he'll retire, and then some of the cards that people aren't looking at, I want to just get.
Do you think the recession? How do you think the recession will affect the subset of cards you're speaking of?
The cards that I'm looking at, I mean, they may go down a little bit, but you have to remember $40 cards. I mean, graded. Usually, if you're looking at a card to grade, how much does it cost? Right now, PSA, you're paying at least $70 economy. They haven't lowered the prices yet, and
Yep.
they haven't opened up economy full time, I believe, right? So I'm getting the slab much cheaper than what if I were to send raw and grade. Now, like some of the high end cards, I think are going to definitely be affected in the recession, because remember, some of these cards went up 20x in 2020, which is insane.
It's true.
And now it's coming down back to earth. People are underwater, and people are probably going to freak out and probably sell at the wrong time, or they may be out of a job and they need money, so they sell it like again at the wrong time. And
when you go to shows, do
Yeah.
you spend time in the dollar bins?
I don't go to the dollar bins because that's just too much time. I usually, when I go shopping, just maybe like a typical guy, I just want to get in and get out. If I find something good, I just want to go home. I don't want to stay there for like hours and hours and hours. I mean, yeah, I may bump into some people there that recognize me. I may bump into some content creators, but I don't know. I'm definitely different than you. You like talking to different types of people.
Do you talk to content creators when you see them?
When I see them, yeah, I'm gonna talk to them. But that being said, at smaller shows, you're not gonna see them, but at bigger shows, you probably bump into people, and also people that watch your channels.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I'm sure people have bumped into you. I've seen some of your videos. People say, "Hey, what's up?" Right?
Yep.
So then you talk to them. Yeah,
Yeah, we
so I
kick it with.
definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy that, man. I tell people all the time, no matter what I'm doing, if you see me, say what's up.
Right.
And then we would have a conversation. So North Carolina is at 79. Duke has 77 points. 8 seconds left.
Oh boy.
We're gonna see who wins this game.
That's...
Hey, you know what? We could get on more often. I mean, I enjoy having conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, talking through stuff. What trends we see in the market.
Yeah, for sure.
Some stuff that we may have heard while we're out. Something that we saw on eBay.
Right.
It's all good with me, man.
Yeah.
Do you do collaborations with other people on content?
I usually have stayed away from this. I probably will do some more in the coming weeks and months ahead.
Why do
I,
you think you stayed away? Why do you think?
I'm sorry.
Why do you think you stayed away?
Why I stayed away, because what I saw in gold and silver was there were shady people,
Okay.
and I'm beginning to notice that there could potentially be more shady people, and I want to see who's going to be who's for real and who is, you know, he doesn't have the best intentions. I'm getting to figure out who does and doesn't. But so I'm slowly bringing people on, and if you're up for it, you could definitely come on my program
Oh yeah.
one of these days,
It's all
next
good with
few
me, man.
months.
Yeah.
And I do want to talk to different people with different opinions. I think people need to definitely have conversations,
Mhm.
but I'm still very careful in who I bring on and what to talk about. I mean, I believe I'm just going to say this out loud. I think some content creators are engaging in not fraud, but pretty deceptive and shady behavior. And that's one of the reasons why I've been very skeptical
Mhm.
in doing so. And I've mentioned that I think a few months ago, I said, like, I'm going to be very careful on who I bring on and this and that. And, it's not against, some of the guys who are good guys, but it's just I've seen things and I want to be very careful in how I go. And sure, I could explode my user base by doing more collaborations, but I want to be very careful in what I do. If
Oh, I
you
respect
you,
that.
you understand,
Oh yeah, I completely.
it's not like an insult or disrespect to any other content creators. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
be
I'm
very
always.
careful.
I've heard people say. I've heard people hit me in the comments and say stuff about being positive and only showing positivity in a
Yeah,
hobby. I just want people to know that, like, I don't spend a lot of time on stuff that, and I don't know if that's a recommendation I would give to people. Like, I choose and I use my time in a particular way,
yeah,
right? And it's not about ignoring what else is going on in the hobby.
right.
About where do I focus? North Carolina just won 81-77. Coach
Wow,
K's last game, people.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
That's intense.
I come from Chicago too, and two Chicago people.
Yeah, exactly, Coach K.
But I try to focus my time on what am I thinking about? What am I doing? Right.
Yeah,
And then I try to collect in a particular way. I'm
right,
always geared towards research and what's the next opportunity.
right.
Research, what's the next opportunity. There may be times, even at shows, you come across people that don't want to talk to you.
Yeah,
Um, or you talk to other people and they've experienced something where someone what they think is not the same way in person as they are on their YouTube channel.
they're two-faced. That's the thing.
Yeah, I've heard
And then
this.
that's why I'm a bit, you know, not skeptical. That's why I've been very cautious in bringing people on.
Hmm.
And I did bring on Ziggy, I think, the other day. I think he's in the comment section. I
Okay.
did bring him on, even though I know we don't agree on everything. It's just that, he's kind of like me. We just say what's on our mind, and we understand there's consequences for that. And that's why I brought him on. And he had some interesting takes on some of the applications that are out there, for comps. So that's why I wanted him to come on.
That's a topic we haven't gotten into yet. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get to that. I love the content from both of you. Thank you, Chance. Wanted to have a real conversation, just talk through stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Rookie card finder, I've unfollowed a lot of content creators. FD is pure. The others are groupies, to be honest. That's interesting. That's an interesting take. I think this conversation that we've had, like, I don't usually get comments like this, but I like it. Right, this is like it's good to see what people are really thinking.
Yeah.
Um, I just kind of I try to do my thing the way I do my thing, and I try
Right.
to
Right.
treat people the way I want to be treated. If I'm in
Right.
a show, or
Right.
if I'm going through comments here with someone, or if I meet someone in person, whatever it may be, I've been out and about, and some people say, "Are you FD from Rolling with FD?" I don't have anything on, and I'll have a conversation with him. We start talking about cars. That's just me, man. Yeah, and it goes back to how I was raised and the people I've been around, and
Right.
we're doing this because we love the hobby, right? You and
Yeah.
I are not getting paid to be here today. We do this because we love what this is all about. How we got, and a lot of times in life, it's almost like how you got introduced to something is your experience in it later on. There's many
Right.
different things that I've been a part of. Is about how you got introduced to it. The hobby is the same way. That's why I always start with talking through people's stories. Like, how did you get involved in this?
Right.
Tell something about later on, probably what your expectation level was, or how do you feel about the hobby now? Yeah, I would just hope more people have good experiences. But I'll say this, Raul.
Yeah.
You said some people are two-faced, right? And we had a comment here about what do you mean by deceptive? But we know these are characteristics that are in our world.
Yeah.
So I'm a guy that, born and raised in Chicago. I've moved around a lot of different places.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of different people that have nothing to do with cars. I've learned a lot of different behavior types. What are people talking about? Are they doing what they talk about? Or are they just talking? These are characteristics that I would want people to learn. Maybe the hobby will teach them. This might be their first encounter of doing business with people, talking to people about stuff. But this stuff is out here. I almost anticipated. I hate to say that. I anticipated. Somebody has to show me that they're real people. And now when they show me that, then we're down. I'm down. We do whatever we could talk about, whatever, do whatever. Up until then, I anticipate someone to probably say something, do something else, act a certain way, maybe on TV. You see them in person, they don't really have too much to say. It's disappointing at times, but it's the real side of the environment, the society that we're in. It's a real part of it. That's how I think about it, right? That's a real part of things. You may come to somebody's table, they may have a lot of conversation for you. You may come to somebody's table, they don't have too much in them. Maybe that's their personality. It's cool. But if I'm a customer, there's a level of engagement I'm thinking that would take place, right? If I went to buy clothing, I went to buy a pair of pants or a shirt, I'm looking for the person that's there to talk to me about something. Not just like they're the shirts,
Yeah.
It's like the same characteristics. So that's kind of what I go by. But there was a question here. I think I just pulled up about what do you mean by deceptive?
So, individuals that shield themselves about, hey, we're all about the community. We're all about in the best interest of all the people. But then what they do is because they're two-faced, they try to do things that are in their best interest rather than help the so-called community.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been sent messages via Instagram about certain individuals that, hey, this person's up to no good, and they're two-faced and they're lying through their teeth about it. And I could detect it even in just some interviews people do. Like, there's this one individual, I think I talked about in one of my videos, also with Ziggy, that one individual was talking about, I don't know how much you follow economics, but there's this one individual talking about the Austrian School of Economics, which is good at determining bubbles. And last year I talked about, hey, this thing is going to come tumbling down, and I use that type of thinking. Mm-hmm. And this dude, he's talking about this Austrian School of Economics now, but he said nothing last year when it was clearly a bubble. You saw some, prices kept on going up and up and up. You talked about it, right? Mm-hmm. This dude was saying nothing about it. So I know he's two-faced, this individual. He's lying through his teeth. And Ziggy had this conversation with me. Like that guy is definitely, we were messaging each other through Instagram. Like, this guy is definitely lying and through his teeth based on our opinion. Mm-hmm. So it's just like stuff like that. A lot of people probably wouldn't be able to like figure it out, but there's just some clues where you could see like some individuals posting a card that, hey, we we bought it, or I bought it, at this price, but then it's, $1,000 higher, try to inflate the comps. But then, you try to negotiate your way into to negotiate by giving these inflated comps. Some people will believe that, and then you come out victorious in that. I mean, that's the type of issue, and I've uncovered this. You could go to eBay sales, you could go through videos. It's just stuff like that that boils my blood, because they hide around being positive, being all about the community, but you're able to pinpoint all of this just through like being a detective.
Yes.
That's what boils my blood. And sometimes I get passionate because I I've seen this before in silver and gold, and I saw like, hey, this stuff is not right. And like you said, you've seen things at shows,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, and you don't like it either.
Mhm.
And you're genuinely, upset about that. I could see that, right? And the fact is, you're having me on, I could tell that, okay, you definitely want to, learn about people and their opinions, et cetera,
Oh
et
yeah.
cetera. So you seem to be a genuine person.
Especially when someone is sensible, like
Yeah.
if you're talking to someone that's screaming and hollering,
Yeah, I don't do
that's
that,
totally different. But if we want to get on here and have a conversation, I'm here all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what,
yeah, I do get passionate, but there's a reason why I get passionate. It's because I am truly ticked off. It's not, I'm being fake. No, this is what, the thing is, like I said, people are two-faced. They may have conversations about this type of stuff, but they may not go publicly strategically. That's why they do that.
Mhm.
Right.
What's your background? You finance? What's your background?
I'm an accountant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I did have a finance degree, but I graduated in '08 when the market crashed. So I'm like, okay, better get an accounting degree. What about you?
I can tell from talking to you. So when I first started in college, I was an accounting major.
Oh, okay.
I was there for like 2 years, and I moved over to business, and then I went back to school to get an MBA in marketing and strategy.
Okay.
But just talking to you, I can tell how you dig into stuff.
Yeah, it's just these small details, even though I'm not a detail-oriented person, but just trying to find things that others won't be able to pick up. And then, I go with it. And then obviously, some people don't like it. I mean, you'll get canceled from, the hobby. Fanatics won't hire me in the future, but, it's not about, taking the ticket. It's about, speaking what I deem to be the truth. Does it mean I'm going to be right? No, it's just trying to be as transparent as possible and not being two-faced.
Understand?
Yeah.
Chance says, "I love you guys. How you guys are really transparent and really keep the sane side of the hobby going, and keeping your viewers well informed about the hobby and the possibilities." I think I try to take an approach in our content of showing by example of kind of how to think about stuff, how to do a negotiation,
how
to talk through certain things.
Right.
I think that's what I attempt to do, because I always felt like if someone's trying to show me something, and I'm not a sit behind a desk kind of person, all right?
Yeah.
I love these lives, but if you ask me to do all my content behind a desk, it might be difficult for me.
Right.
It might be easier for other people. I admire Dustin, right? I admire people like Brad and some other people that they make content from their home, and it's like good content, like it's well thought out and took time with it. I'm gonna challenge myself on some topics to do more of that, because I just always think, man, I gotta be well rounded, right? I can't just do one thing and I'm just gonna
I mean, you like this conversation, it just makes me think like a lot of people would definitely like to hear, your thoughts on shill bidding, right? Yeah, I didn't know your opinion on shill bidding. I mean, you just say you want to come on and like, yeah, sure, why not? I know your thoughts. Like, that was interesting. You said, like, hey, you know, you knew people that used to buy stuff in bulk and you know, they bid it up. You know, I think people would definitely want to watch that, to be honest.
I think I'm gonna do more of that. I think I'm gonna I've challenged myself to go to a show and set up. I want to do that more.
Yeah.
Going forward, you know, I go out and go to shows and walk to shows and negotiate deals.
Right.
That's like, man, that's like playing pickup basketball or something. You know? I just love that. I love the interaction there and talking to people. But I think I'm gonna challenge myself to do more of that, because there's
you should. You'd be really good at it, to be honest, because you have what, over 20 years experience, you know.
I've seen a lot of different things happen with cars and autographs over time.
And I remember you were on a live stream, I think with Dakota, and then you knew like all these things about like autographs. I was asking like, hey, what about Reggie Jackson? And you're saying like, oh, it's like overproduced or something like that. Like, exactly. You know all this stuff, and I think that would be helpful for people that are newbies, right? You have a lot of experience. You know, someone that's 18, 19, 20 would learn from guys like you just on collecting, right?
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And that's why I think I try to spend so much time when I see younger collectors out. Like, you know, I try to talk to them.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people just walk past these people and don't really spend any time with them. And I remember being that person, like I talked about earlier in this show. I remember being a person that, you know, we lived on the South Side.
Yeah.
We would go, we would probably travel 30 to 45 minutes to get somewhere where I'm talking to somebody about comic books or cards. And my parents were committed to that. You know, my brother and I would, we try to do what's right to, you know, they tell us certain things we need to do as kids, and we'll abide by that. And then we're like, on Saturday, can I go to the comic book store, or can I buy a few packs? They might give us $5, $10 to go get something. And I always tell a story back then is that comic books, you could get a lot of comic books for $10. You know, and my brother was big on reading stuff, and I was big on the artwork on comics. And so I wanted to preserve, and he wanted to read, and that's just how he wrote. My brother never really understood the card game, right? He never really understood why would someone want someone's card. Right. And I would explain that. But now he understands a little bit more. We talk about some stuff, and he understands why that may be. And I think as me having conversations with him, he's talked more about investing in some stuff, buying stock or doing different things for himself in the future. And that's why I kind of see cards. I've heard people say, you know, cards are not a future investment, and you can't give your kid a card that you have that can benefit them in the future. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think that's true. I think if you have the right card, right player, right circumstances, you have a great investment.
And also at the right price.
At the right price, yeah.
Right.
And I'm all about at the right price.
Right.
To me, that's what it's all about. But we have a few more things here. Let's see here. I really love this episode, FD. I was today. I thought about you today a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, I want to hit him up and see if he wants to come on. I didn't know if he wanted to come on today or what you had going on, and did you want to come on next week? But I just wanted to have a conversation to talk to you. I had actually said too, and I still want to do this. I'm gonna reach out to you when I come to Chicago later this year.
Yeah.
And we'll talk or do something or whatever it may be. If it's around the show, maybe we hit the show together.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll come up to your place of business, spend some time with you. I'm all about that, man.
Awesome.
I'm all about getting to know people and spending more time with them.
Right.
Brendan says FD is a foundation of knowledge. I'm humbled by that. I appreciate that. This my father kicked this off. I tell the story all the time. You know, he was the person that was the advocate for me to learn more about cards, spend more time with them, learn more about autographs.
Right.
He inspired me to do a lot in the hobby, outside of the hobby. So whenever I'm on a live, I want everybody out there to know this. I'm talking to anybody, or I'm at a show. I'm rolling with my pops, man. He taught me a whole lot. So I give that comment to him. I appreciate that. Like FD wearing his brand. I try to do it more and more and more. We're gonna try to get some gear that shows more of the brand. That's what we're going to try to do. Art says, FD, I've met and done business with Anthony. He works for the grading company TGT. He moved the company to LA. Are you out there? I am in LA. He was from Pittsburgh. If you get a chance, if you ever need anything graded, look him up. Does great work. I will remember that. TGT. I will remember that. J Can, Awesome FD, and AIH, good chat team. All right. And then we got one last one here. Worked out great for me as investment. I already made more than I have spent and still have a good collection to pass on. I'm all about that pass on. I believe in that. There are some cards that I've purchased that, I'll teach some people to be fiscally minded of what they may receive later on. That's what it's all about. Well, sir, I appreciate your time, man. We've been on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
I appreciate your time. It's great to meet you. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be in contact soon. We'll get back on maybe in a duration of time. We'll get back on.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll probably bring you on once I start doing more collaborations with people in this YouTube space.
Please do, because I would definitely get on with you. We can work a schedule out.
For sure.
I'm good with it, man.
For sure. Awesome. Thank you.
Sir, it's been great spending time with you. I appreciate your perspective, talking through things with me. And I want everybody out there to know there are things that we'll leave today we think alike on. There are things that we don't, but we're able to have a conversation about it.
Yeah, and I think that needs to be done with, people on polar sides just to, calm things down.
Yep, it's all good, man. We want community, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man.
I
appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. You have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.